Welcome to On the Corner of Main Street, presented by Plaza Hotel and Casino in downtown Las Vegas. Here is Plaza CEO Jonathan Jossel, Gary Vickery, and I'm your host, Lisa Melmed. Good afternoon, Jonathan. How are you?
I am great, Lise. Good to be here with you again.
We are recording in a brand new spot today.
Yes, we are in Studio 1971. For anyone that hasn't come to check it out,
yes, it
what
is
can they
a
expect?
Photo room. You have disco balls, sparkles, showgirls, Vegas, neon, an amazing 1971, the year the Plaza opened.
Over 250 people were in here on Saturday.
Amazing. Come in here, take your photos, tag us at Plaza Las Vegas.
See some Plaza history.
And Gary's on vacation.
Miss you, Gary.
Miss you, Gary. But we have a very exciting co-host / guest today. We are joined by Rowland, our Director of Food and Beverage here. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on.
Welcome, Ryan. How long have you been with us?
3 years, a little over 3 years now.
Well, yeah, it's a little rude. We had the chef on here before you. You helped us bring the chef here, and then we bring him on the podcast first.
Yeah,
but
I felt a little slighted on that one, I'll be honest.
Thank you for joining us. And today's subject, you get all the credit for. We've been talking about bars for a while now. I think there's been rumors out there about potentially what we might be doing. I've told everyone, it's no secret, we're going to add 2 new bars to the Plaza by the end of the year. And today we're going to be announcing one of them, of which you helped bring to life.
Yeah, we're excited to make this announcement, definitely.
Yeah, and we, one of the things I challenged Ryan with when he joined us was that the Plaza is doing great and everything's improving, but we still struggle after 10:30 p.m. Once Oscars closes, the sportsbook closes, the showrooms closed. You really are left with the casino and the hotel. There's no additional entertainment. We've talked at length with some of our prior guests. We've had Ryan Doherty on, Jason Strauss on, Sean Christie about nightclubs, but it's all on the Strip or off Fremont Street Experience. It's in East Fremont, the bars. We don't have anything to attract people to late night. Mm-hmm. And so we've really wanted to correct that, and Ryan and I have spent many, many months talking about it. Obviously, the pandemic slowed things down a little bit. Yeah. One of the ideas we're not going to yet announce, but we're getting very close to be able to announce it. But it is important for downtown that we continue to evolve. I think what you've seen in downtown in the last few years is just an explosion of beverage sales in terms of the bars on Fremont Street Experience are doing well. You now have Troy at Golden Nugget. You've got Legacy at Circa. And then obviously some of the older stuff that's at Four Queens and the Boyd properties. So there's a lot of investment made into beverage, and I guess we're behind on that. I would say.
Yeah, I think that we had some things going on here when I started on property in the Omaha Lounge that served its purpose for the time. But now I think with this new venue that we're going to be putting in here, it really changes that. Like you said, Jonathan, the after 10 o'clock hour, and what we can do to keep people on property and keep people entertained and. Yeah, keep drinks in people's hands.
And I guess in the interest of disclosure, once we announce this bar, Omaha Lounge will be no more because we will have a different live music option. So Omaha Lounge and the entertainment that came with that won't be there anymore. There's many disappointed. I do get a lot of messages still about Wonder Boogie.
Yeah, we get a lot on social media.
Yeah. But it's important to adapt. And what I saw this weekend is unbelievable. Las Vegas is really... I don't want to say Las Vegas is back because it's been busy for the last 4 months, but people have so many more options now. I mean, this weekend you had Garth Brooks performing with, was it 60,000 people, 65,000 people? Yeah. It looked insane in there. T-Mobile, I was at the fight. That was 20,000 people. You got Resorts World and all the nightclubs are packed. The pool parties are packed. I mean, 2 months ago, or not even a month ago, you had nothing to do here. I mean, nothing was open.
Right. Well, we were having everybody come to the pool and hang out on the casino floor and hang out at the bars downstairs, but there wasn't much.
There wasn't this distraction. So all of a sudden, entertainment is back. People are spending money there, and we have to adapt and continue to bring the Plaza up to that level. And I think today's announcement, today's guests will be elevating the Plaza's entertainment options.
So excited. And I have to give you credit, Ryan, because Jonathan, I have tried to take you to this place many times, and
you and me, or you and Ryan have tried to take me there?
I have tried to take you there, and it was always like busy. And then Ryan comes.
Yeah, I came on board and I got him out there not too long after I started. So.
Yeah, well, more persuasive.
More persuasive.
But it's going to be a very fun addition to the Plaza.
Absolutely.
Should we introduce it?
Let's.
We have a brand new announcement that we are so excited to share. We promised that On the Corner of Main Street would be the first place you would hear this. We today are joined by the co-owners of this very exciting announcement. We
Say
have.
the name. Say it.
Should we say it? Should we say it?
Let's go.
The Sand Dollar is opening up a new location at the Plaza Hotel and Casino. And today we are joined by co-owners Anthony Jamison and Nathan Grates. Welcome to On the Corner of Main Street.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Welcome, guys.
Where's the air horn?
It is cool that we can use a podcast to release breaking news.
Breaking news.
And we did tease that this was coming, so I'm very happy to have you guys join us. And Ryan stayed over for my introduction, so welcome back, Ryan.
Thank you.
But great to have you guys. Thank you for joining us, and this is a huge honor for us. We've talked at length about the Plaza and needing some late night entertainment, and given your connection with Ryan and the history, this just totally made sense for us. And couldn't be happier to have you guys as partners and joining us here.
Exciting stuff.
It's so exciting. The Sand Dollar is an iconic bar in Chinatown. Would you call that Chinatown?
We do. Yeah.
It's like right at the entrance, right?
Tip of the spear.
For those that don't know, why don't we? Where physically is it? If it's Chinatown, but it's Spring Mountain and
Right. Yeah. So it's Spring Mountain and Polaris. So if you're jumping off the highway, it's the first stop on the left.
So tell us, Anthony. Let's start with you. Tell us about who you are, where you're from, and how'd you get started in this.
I'm from Tonopah, Nevada, so native.
Man, that's it. You're from Tonopah, and then what happened?
That's it. And I met this guy at work, and here we are.
Where were you working?
We opened Bardot together, and one of our partners had come to me and said the Sand Dollar's for sale, which at that time was a pretty notorious place. So I was like, oh, interesting.
What year was that?
2015. But had a bad night at work, and I laid in bed thinking about the Sand Dollar, and 45 days later we had the keys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you used to hang out there? Like, how did you know about the Sand Dollar?
I had been there a few times. I saw it on VH1 one time. I saw like Sweaty Teddy Nugent playing at Sand Dollar, so I had went to check it out. I don't know how many years ago that was, but then occasionally went there for bands.
Awesome. And Nathan, how about you? Where are you from, and how did you get started?
Well, yeah. I mean, I hail from Michigan, little Bodunk town. Very small town, actually. About like 700 people live there.
Wow.
So
That's small.
big family. Grew up there. Went to school at Michigan State. Got a business degree, and then set sail for Vegas because there were no jobs at the time, and it's been incredible ever since. Love this city.
When was that? What year was
that? Would have been 2011.
You moved to Vegas in 2011?
Yeah. So we're in my 10th year here. Actually, August will be 10 years.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel like a local now.
Did you move out here for a job, or what was the reason to come?
Well, yeah, I mean, like my first gig, my car barely made it. I mean, I had like no money in my pocket. I think I was making $11 an hour in human resources doing processing. So I was that guy who would call you and set you up for the job, make sure you brought all the appropriate like licenses and credentials and whatnot.
Okay, that's a powerful position.
Yeah.
You're the first experience that a candidate has with a company. You're the first voice they hear.
Yeah, HR.
At MGM you did that?
I did that at MGM, yeah. It was terrible. I did it for 2 months.
How long have you guys been partners?
6 years?
I don't bring up that part of my past.
Okay, go on.
The dark age.
So then how do you transfer over into like food and beverage?
Geez, well, yeah. So they gave me that gig, and it was kind of like Michelle DeTonda gave me that gig. She set me up because she was the senior VP of Human Resources. So I'm just sitting in office calling people all day, but I got to see all the jobs that came through the queue. And I had been a bartender in college, which I loved to do. So ultimately, that's what the goal was. Mm-hmm. Work hard, get your own bar eventually. And I started as a beverage manager.
You said Michelle, but was that MGM?
Michelle DeTonda, yeah. She was the senior VP.
At MGM?
For MGM Resorts International,
okay. Yeah.
It was Mirage or something at the time. I can't remember. But yeah, and so I saw a beverage job, and I started working at the MGM Grand, and I was doing Grave. So I did Grave for like 15 months, essentially by myself, and those were like 14-hour days. I mean, it was brutal.
All right.
But I got a feel for the city, certainly the nightlife.
Who are you calling at 2 a.m. to tell them to bring their IDs.
Oh no! This was
You're saying
this
you
was after
switched
the,
to become
this
a
was
bartender.
after the I mean, it was heartbreaking to leave the processing job. But
He left the processing and became a bartender.
Yeah, I basically had to.
And did graveyard. I saw your face when he said that graveyard HR thing, and that was confusing.
Did I skip a part of the story? No, yeah. That job was really tough too. But the Mina Group, which is really kind of where we met, was Mina Group brought us together. So open pub 18.
That was Ryan as well. Right?
Yeah, Ryan as well.
And you all worked together at the same time?
No, I mean, so I worked at Pub 1842 at the MGM, opened that restaurant, and then they asked me to go open up Bardot at Aria.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamison was a former employee of American Fish, and he had been kind of hopping around in limbo with gigs. And
Bardot replaced American Fish, right?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah. So we encouraged Jamison to come back. I think hesitantly he did. But yeah, so I was the AGM there, and Jamison was one of the servers, and the director of Beverage was our third partner at the time. He came up to me with this exciting idea. Always very enthusiastic about things, and convinced me to go grab a beer after work. So I went. I'd never been to the Dollar, which is surprising because I loved the place.
For those listening, the dollar is short for
Yeah.
sand dollar.
If you have to say it a lot, it's best you just
say
choose
the
one
dollar.
word. Yeah, 2 syllables is fine. But I'm sitting in there. I walk in and I'm drinking a Pabst, and there's this guy on stage playing guitar. He's in all white, and he looked like Jesus. It was Stoney Curtis.
Tony Curtis, yeah.
Incredible. He shreds. But yeah, and so I look over, and Pabst later, more excitement. I'm like, we got to do this. This is great. We'll figure it out. And so I see this little old lady, and I run over to her, and you could just tell the way she was talking, I guess, that she was the owner. And I was like, listen, we're going to buy your bar. Don't send it to anybody else, because he had seen it in.
You knew they wanted to sell it.
Yeah, he had. Benito had seen it in a. It was in the paper or something.
I thought you told him.
No, he came to me. So yeah, so I mean, I told him, like, this is a for sure thing. We got to do this. It was like that. My mind had been made up when I saw him on stage.
What was it about Sand Dollar? Because I mean, I never went there prior to you guys owning it, so I know a lot of people did. But what was it that made you feel like you had to have that?
Oh,
I think Nate was a little naive or he didn't know. It used to be kind of a Hell's Angels stronghold, so
I was 25.
it was a pretty rough place. So when they told me, I just kind of like, yeah, whatever.
But just that recently, or was that sort of Hell's Angels stronghold?
Maybe like 3 owners before us.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of used to that kind of clientele because when I grew up in Michigan, I mean...
From Bardot?
Yeah, so there was like nobody. So my buddy's cousin convinced me to bartend. I was 17 years old and convinced me to go in and do a bartending gig at a place called the Hitching Post. And it was ladies' night, so they wanted some young bucks. So they grabbed me I'm still in high school, but they were like, well, nobody's going to care. There's like one cop in the county. So... I showed up, and my first guest was a big biker fella, and the 2 ladies he was with, they asked for Bud Lights. Like, I did that, and like shamefully fumbled while I did that, and then poured him a Jack and Coke, and the guy like slams his hand down and he's like, son, you don't put more whiskey in my next drink, I'm gonna break your fucking arm. So that was like my first introduction to like, I love bartending. This is so exciting. So for me, it was like just like any other bar that I used to see back in Michigan. It was kind of a rough spot.
Oh, that's what attracted you to Sand Dollar.
Yeah.
And so that was 2015, and did you do what you said you were going to do? You bought it pretty much right after that?
Well, we went to Jamison. Take it from there. Yeah.
Yeah, they told me, and we kind of scouted it, but I just figured with that address, the first thing they teach you in culinary school is location, and I mean, you can't get a better location, so I said, fuck it, like, let's buy this place and make it work. If we can't make it work at that location, we're in the wrong business altogether. So
so you left Bardot?
Well, I text these guys, I said, whatever you're doing with the Sandler thing, I want in on it, and they ignored me, and then I said, I'll quit my job and run it, and you guys can keep your little fancy corporate jobs. And then they immediately text me back, let's talk. So
they needed you.
That was it, yeah.
And that was, so you ended up doing it give us some timeline here. That's 2015. When did you actually take over Sand Dollar?
So that was 45 days.
Sorry, I got to get better. This is the Dollar.
Yeah, the dirty dollar. I had some pretty wealthy customers that I've been taking care of for maybe 13 years at that point that had always talked about investing when I was ready to do something. So I was going to do it, and my wife at the time said, I think my parents would be offended if you didn't talk to them because they've mentioned about investing in me, which I had never heard that from them. So okay, well, we'll offer it to them first and see what they say. It wasn't a lot of money, what we needed. The place was like, I think their initial offer was $30,000 or something. But
Okay.
yeah, so my father-in-law said, okay, like send me business plan. We sent it, and he said,
I
it
did
sounds
like
great.
a video sit down to meet his father-in-law and mother-in-law.
Yeah, so he loaned us the money. And,
But give us a sense. Was it a live music bar? Like what?
Yeah, so after we said, okay, let's do it, then obviously let's get serious and go see what's actually going on there.
Right.
And I went every day for 3 days, and every single band I saw, I was like, how is this place not world famous? This is fucking crazy. These musicians are amazing, and no one's ever heard of them.
Right.
So I was like, this is a home run. Easily.
It was blues and rock at the time.
Yeah, there
Pretty
was
much only blues and rock.
There used to be this French lounge singer that was amazing.
Oh yeah, Lulu.
Yeah, Lulu White.
She was solid.
She was amazing.
What happened to her?
We book so many bands. It's if they don't remind me that they're still around, sometimes because we book
Who does the music booking?
Yeah, I do pretty much all the booking.
If anyone asks, he does it.
Yeah, Jamison throws one in there every once in a while, and we kind of collaborate. But
that's all. So Sand Dollar has been around for 45 years. What was it like when
called the Sand Dollar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they changed hands a few times in the last. What it was probably I don't know.
My understanding is a family bought it in the late 70s, ran it from the 70s clear to 2001, I think, and then they sold it just because the son who inherited it was just aging out of it. So he sold it, and then that person turned it into bikini bar and put grass skirting around the bar, and the bartenders wore bikinis, and that's when the kind of bikers moved in. No one knows. I think they got evicted, honestly, because the landlord didn't speak very highly of them, and I'm pretty sure someone got stabbed.
Oy vey.
Great.
And so then the next person that got it ended up on bar rescue.
What Taffa?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And someone told me that she thought that was her ticket to Hollywood by getting on that show, so she wasn't the best operator. She's a former dancer, and her dentist boyfriend purchased it for her.
Good, you really know the ins and outs of all the previous owners.
I actually, then years later, someone told me I met the guy. He was given the bar at a party, and he showed me the check.
It's $25K, I want to say.
Yeah.
Someone lost the bar. I thought it was in a poker game.
Something like that. But needless to say, they weren't F&B people, so they failed miserably and sold it to this family who bought it for their daughter to run. And 3 months after buying it, she took a job at Aria and left it in their 70-year-old parents' lap, and so they were not into it. So it was only open 3 days a week. Music. As soon as the music stopped, they would just turn the lights on. Okay, everybody out.
They'd have a cash register at the door, and they'd just take $5 from everybody.
Yeah. Sounds a bit like Beauty Bar in the early days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was a little sloppy. Can't blame the lady and gentleman who owned it at the time, though. They were very sweet people.
So did you have a vision though, based on the fact that it was bikers and whatever else? Did you think you could start becoming an industry locals bar? Was there always gaming there? What was the plan to get that going?
Not to sound cocky, I always we knew it would be an industry bar because between us and our former partner, we're all about 6 years apart. So he was in his 20s, I was in my 30s, the other guy's in his 40s. So we all work on a strip. So we knew everyone in every hotel basically between the three of us. So one night my friends would come, the next night his friends would come, and then it's just word spreads like wildfire.
I think it's done so much for the community because all these industry people are come there after hours, and then it gets so busy it's impossible to get a drink, but it's the most fun.
That was by design from day one. We're going straight after chefs and bartenders and waiters
when they get off work.
Yeah.
And for clarity of this podcast, we're calling this Sand Dollar downtown.
Yes.
We're calling this the Sand Dollar Downtown.
So what are we going to call it for short?
The dollar
Downtown Dollar.
Downtown
A lot of
Dollar.
syllables.
I like downtown dollar.
Downtown Dollar's got a nice ring.
During Christmas time, Sand Dollar turns into Miracle on Spring Mountain.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was brought to our attention by our former partner, who traveled a lot and encountered these Miracle bars, which is a collaboration with Cocktail Kingdom in New York predominantly. I think it kind of started around there. And so what they do is they give you this like pop-up concept where they give you the recipes for the drinks, and everything's very Christmas. I mean, everything's just covered in Christmas. So we thought, let's just give it a go. That wasn't really like a thing in Vegas until we did it. And that was 2018. So
What a good idea.
Yeah, so JMO hopped on a plane.
It was 2019.
2019, yeah, we've only done 2. But JMO hopped on a plane, went to New York, took a look at it. We were just looking really at kind of like the business demand and the increases that a lot of the companies that participated got. And we were like, let's give this a try. Why not? There's nothing else. And it's like a perfect pairing, that kind of bar with the music. So it kind of gives you an added...
Give us what is it? Give more information to the listeners. What is
essentially, it's a franchise that you buy into. Obviously, Cocktail Kingdom has the factories and the ability to manufacture custom glassware, so you buy the glassware through them. So that's genius on their part, is they're just funneling money to their other business. But outside of that, it's all up to you to decorate and do everything.
Who does decorate it?
We use a company called Bright Light Cruise. Is it Bright Light?
I don't know.
It's a friend of mine that I grew up with in Tonopah. So he has a company where they decorate like mansions and stuff. So they specialize in outdoor. So this was their first time ever doing an indoor project. But
So it's like a ton of LED, like Christmas twinkling.
Oh, thousands. What was it? 20,000 lights?
I don't know. It was a lot.
It was
but for a customer, you're coming there, you're seeing the lights.
Right. So you're coming in for the seasonal cocktails. You're coming in because the entire atmosphere is just
amazing.
It's all Christmas. We're playing Christmas music up until the band goes live, and when the band's not live, we're throwing back on Bing Crosby. And
there's 140 locations around the world, and we're the only live music one, so we have that advantage.
It's amazing. And
well, I will say, Lisa, credit to you and your husband. That was like the first time I started hearing about Sand Dollar about 5 years ago. Adam was probably still is a big fan and customer of theirs.
Huge fan. The live music, he's from Chicago and was looking for sort of a bar where he could see live music. He's always like, Vegas has no culture. But then he found the Sand Dollar and...
The dollar.
The dollar, as he called it. And fell in love because it's such a good community. The drinks are amazing. The bartenders are very nice and welcoming. And the music is spot on.
That's the culture. When I moved here, every other bar I'd go to, I was like, there's no culture here. It's just another gaming bar, with just another bored bartender who's got 3 guys, pushing buttons all day. Like, there's so many opportunities. And there's such a big community of not just the Vegas community, but the hospitality community itself is massive.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to have that bar that they call theirs, and that's what we like the Sand Dollar to be.
We don't know if you guys want to release it on this podcast, but we locked up their sister concept, the Tiki version of Miracle.
Oh, really?
So 2022 Tiki, it's called Sipping Santa, will be here.
Nice.
We definitely know.
Wait, it's a Tiki Santa, or is those two separate things?
It's a Tiki Christmas concept.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing.
I'm so excited. So all the themes that you do at Sand Dollar, at the Dollar, Chinatown, will be at the Dollar downtown. Dollar downtown.
Miracle technically can't.
That was good.
Miracle is one per city, so it has this.
Oh.
But they have that sister concept. There was other bars trying to do it, so they called us and said, we prefer to keep this under one umbrella. Do you want to do Sipping Santa? So, well, it's funny you ask because we just found out we're going to be doing another location. So
excited for that.
I think tiki bars are definitely needed more downtown.
It's gonna.
Frankie's is great, but you can't walk to it from downtown.
Yeah, and to be honest, those are gaming bars, both of them. So we're more of a bar-focused program in general. So we're gonna pull all the stops out for that.
Will there be gaming
at the Plaza one?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Very limited, but there will be 8 machines. at the bar, which is about a third of the size of the bar that we're building. Correct?
Yeah, we're looking at a bigger bar in the downtown location, which is great.
Nice.
But just like you have at the Sand Dollar Lounge, you know, we only, you know, we're licensed for 15. We only did 8 machines there. We wanted people to have that, you know, if you want to belly up to the bar and not have a machine in your face, you have that opportunity. So it kind of gives you, you know, that a different feel if you're into it. Yeah.
And you also added a kitchen in there, right? Since you took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get that gaming license, we had to. So
Oh, really?
that was an interesting conversation with my father-in-law. Like, we have the money to pay you back, but unfortunately, we're going to spend
We're
it
going to
all.
build a kitchen for pizza.
Yeah, we're going to double down.
And so there'll be pizza here at the Plaza too, correct?
Yeah.
Coincidentally, it works out perfectly.
And so are there other themes? You mentioned Nightmare.
Yeah. So we did that as a survival mode for COVID. Like, let's do a
What's
Halloween version.
Oh.
A Halloween version of what we did a Miracle, but we just do it ourselves, and it's wildly successful. So now we're going to do that.
What is
again.
this, like all the Hallmark holidays? You just come up with a
Yeah, we're
promotion around
Valentine's
them?
Day now.
Valentine's Day will be next, St. Patrick's Day.
I love
no,
it.
I don't think we have enough
You
decorations.
do
in
4th of
storage.
July. It's
Don't
honestly,
compete with my 4th of July fireworks, please.
it's honestly too much work to do that. It's insane.
I mean, a lot goes into it. I mean, like spreading cobwebs for 8 hours. It's
Right.
you have blisters from hanging decorations.
Oh my gosh, I'll help. I'm ready to help with that. Okay, but so this is so exciting that you're coming to the Plaza. Ryan, you were very heavily involved in this whole deal. How did this all start?
Well, it all started with
He said you seduced us.
Yeah.
it started with the availability of the entertainment space that we have here on property. We had a tenant in there that recently left.
It was a temporary timeshare sales center. We called it the event center. So they left, and then we turned into the event center.
Right, and that event center layout is reminded me a lot of the Sand Dollar, and I've known these guys a long time, and I've spent some quality time in the Sand Dollar in the Chinatown, and actually was there visiting for Miracle one night, and approached these guys about the space, and sort of got the ball rolling, and started taking on meetings with them and Jonathan, and it's been a little while.
Yeah,
so
though they were really easy to work with, these guys, really responsive, and got the deal done quickly.
they're tough negotiators. Yeah.
How long did it take?
A couple of months, not too bad. But for anyone that knows the history of the Plaza, it actually used to be called the Aqua Lounge. There used to be a bar in there, and then after the Aqua Lounge, it became the Swingers Lounge with Anthony Cools and the miniature golf, and then it became the event center, and we walled it up, turned it into an event center. We did a lot of great sporting events in there, and then it became the timeshare sales center. And Ryan's point was very well taken, which was once they left, there was this great infrastructure there. There's a stage in there. It lays out very naturally. I think these guys would agree. It doesn't take a ton of to reconfigure it and repurpose it. We do have to rebuild the bar, but it's actually a good thing because the bar will be much better shaped. I think one of the things that's most interesting will be the new entrance that we're going to have. So this is the space right off the casino floor, but the sound will be in its own contained space. But we wanted to give it a cool separate entrance. Speak about your thought for that.
All right, so it's right off Main Street, which is great. So if you're walking up Fremont, you're gonna be able to see it when you turn the corner, or if you're driving up in an Uber or a cab, which is
the
amazing.
main drop-off place.
It's
Yeah,
perfect exposure. But yeah, there's going to be a big Sand Dollar emblem sign hanging out kind of into the street almost. And with all those the signature lights that you have around the plaza as it is, we really think that's going to be a beautiful facade.
Myself being from Nevada my whole life, obviously my family, I only want to do the deal so I can have my neon sign on Main Street.
under our lights.
That's it. Like, other than that,
I guess Ryan seduced you, and Ryan definitely was the one who convinced me of this and had the vision for this. But what about for you guys? Like, why downtown? Did you want to be downtown? Do you hang out downtown? What was the impetus?
As you know, the Dollar on Spring Mountain, there's no natural foot traffic whatsoever. So that was the struggle of getting it to be able to pay the bills in the first place. There's nobody walking by at all. So this has built-in foot traffic, which is not something we've never had. It makes everything a little bit easier as far as getting people in the door. And I think me and Native both spent far too many nights on Fremont Street, so it's a natural fit for us.
Yeah. I love Fremont Street. I think, when I first moved here, it wasn't really a place I would want to come. That was 10 years ago. It was a little rough. So it's come such a long ways. And, the beautiful thing about the Dollar is at its core, like one of the best live music venues you can get. And there's already a culture for that here. And there's already like a very perfect, like a similar demographic for what we would see at the Dollar. And, I think it'll blend right in, but also bring like what we do really well that you wouldn't expect when you see the Dollar on paper is we have an incredible sense of service and elevated cocktail program. And we really took what we learned kind of in fine dining over the years, and we kind of applied that to what we wanted our product to be at the Sand Dollar Lounge. And we want to bring that kind of the downtown Dollar and have that elevated service, a great selection. I mean, you go into the lounge, you're going to have all of these eclectic beers that you can get. You can have all of these, the best quality old fashioned that if you walked all the way up the strip and got to the Sand Dollar downtown, you're going to have your best drink here.
I asked Ryan if the glassware will be.
We just had a meeting about that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we think that that'll carry over to this location. Definitely.
Yeah,
Nice.
We want to have that same feel. I mean, you're walking into a rock and roll bar. It's blues, it's rock and roll, it's edgy, but you're getting the best drink you've ordered on your entire vacation. So you're also having impeccable service with wonderful people. That's the goal.
I think in general, rock bars are not known for their stellar cocktails, so that's definitely something we wanted to fix.
Yeah.
And so that's how it'll be similar to the other location, but are there any differences between each location?
Well, the air conditioning will be much better.
The air conditioning will work.
We're not in a 45-year-old building.
We're in a 50-year.
Yeah. We have better landlords here. Better built-in maintenance.
The one thing that's beautiful about creating it downtown is we get to kind of start from the ground up, whereas we inherited this really rustic, beat-up place at the lounge, and we didn't really have the capital to do anything at the time when we were just getting started. Now we get to we have a better sense of what we want the space to look like. It'll be more elevated. There'll be, certain things you'll see that you don't see in the lounge is the downtown will have like larger booths that'll give you more of a sense of privacy. You'll be able to, reserve a table if there's a particular show that you love, or if we have a really great, guest performer. There's going to be a little bit more of that VIP feel for some people if they want it. And those booths are elevated too, so you're not going to be stuck like right now at the lounge. We've got a hodgepodge of tables with a small dancing area, and you're in the action if you're watching the band on stage side. So in this case, we'll have a little bit more, maybe a little bit more privacy in some cases, with a little elevated feel.
And we used to host a festival here with blues music, and we know our demographics likes blues and rock primarily. That's been our biggest thing, but we've never really had a dedicated venue for it. Do you guys think you'll be booking talent here on a regular basis in terms of, I know the answer is yes, but how regularly, and what are you thinking?
Yeah, so the plan is, and it's kind of, there'll be some tweaking along the way after we get open, but, 10 to 2 a.m. is kind of that mark we want to hit. Later evening, and perhaps on weekends, we have an opening band too that starts at say 8 o'clock or does a 2-hour set. And like the bands that we've considered, and they'll be predominantly blues and rock and roll, but they're going to come and they're going to do 45 to an hour and 15-minute sets depending on the band, and we usually leave that up to them to decide. But the goal is to bring in the same level of talent. The city has so much to offer, and with a second location, we're going to start to attract, bigger groups and more widely known bands with.
We also get to, we have musicians that are amazing, but our clients are local, so you see the same guy 5 times a month. It gets boring. People don't show up. Here, someone's on vacation every day. It's every day Saturday, so you can book the best guys 4 times a month, and it's a different crowd every time. So. And so
you guys, you have hung out downtown? Do you spend time in East Fremont or the Arts District? Where do you like to hang out down here?
I spent my entire 20s inside the Griffin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like the Griffin. It's great.
I only remember a few of those years, but I was here when nobody thought it was cool. Nobody wanted to come down here. I loved it. It was like my favorite. And then
Well, that was it. There was only, I was just talking about this before this podcast, but there was only 3 bars down here from like 2007 to 2010. It was Downtown Cocktail Room,
It's the golden era.
Beauty Bar, and the Griffin.
Yeah,
That was it. You had to bounce between those 3. So that was your spot?
that was it. Yeah, in my tuxedo every night after work.
Nice.
Coming to the Griffin.
Yeah,
Man, I don't know how we did a meet back then.
yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I love what's happening with the area. I used to start a lot at Atomic and then kind of make my way up. I rarely get to the finish line, which was on this side. But yeah, between the way that Fremont's transformed and the Arts District's transformed, I mean, I think it's
Before the days of Uber, taxis were expensive to get to where I lived. So I'd rent a room at the Golden Nugget. And
Nice. That's actually so smart.
I'd come down here with the goal of not leaving. I'd be down here.
Yeah, I think I stayed at the Cortez a few times.
Ubers now are so expensive
You mean right now?
right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I heard from someone that the quote to get to Allegiant Stadium on Saturday was $250.
That's ridiculous and should be legal.
Supply and demand.
So when can we expect for this to be open?
Yeah, guys.
Fall 2021.
Fall 2021 is the
I think that's a great answer.
That's coming up. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's coming up soon.
Are employees allowed to
A couple
go?
of months. They're allowed to go. They just can't get too wasted. Not too much drinking. They can help out. Yeah, Ryan's definitely out. Yeah, of course, we'll all be there.
And what about non-smoking? Smoking, non-smoking? Your other location just switched from smoking to non-smoking.
How long ago was that? It's a year and a half.
January of 2020.
Was that so? Hold on. Okay, that's a great question. But smoking, non-smoking, what was the feedback like? Did people? How did they take it?
Fantastically. Even the smokers like it better.
Because they go out to smoke.
They just, they tell me I used to smoke a pack in one night. Now I smoke, 6 cigarettes because I got to stop watching the music to go outside, so I smoke less. So,
Okay.
And we're going to carry that over. Yeah.
and their wives like it.
That's a big deal. We'll be a non-smoking venue down here then.
Yeah,
Okay.
and people go out after work when they're not supposed to. They don't come home smelling like cigarettes, and they don't get in trouble by their spouses.
Right. What do they smell like?
You have the scent of the dollar on you.
Oh yeah, this used to be
Sense
before.
of a dollar.
I bartended the Dollar the first 2 years, and we didn't have smoke eaters because we couldn't afford them. And you could see a 5-foot cloud,
Oh my gosh.
like a line.
Yeah, everybody thought the ceiling was lower.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys, we have the benefit you were talking about getting home, but here you can just drink and then get a room here. So we have that added benefit. You won't need to go to the Cortez.
Yeah.
How was the pandemic for you guys?
It was a much needed vacation after Miracle, to be honest.
Goodness.
Miracle was probably 10 times busier than we anticipated, so my brain was fried, so I welcomed it, at least at first. It was
Okay.
I thought it would be a month, not 3, so.
Right.
My
Yeah.
last night out was at Sand Dollar on March 10th.
Oh, when Keith with the dollar bills?
Well, it wasn't your last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we closed the 15th.
You were there on March 10?
March 10th.
We knew it was coming, actually, because we have connections in the hotel, so I got a call from an executive at the Wynn, said everything's shutting down, so don't tell a fucking soul, because I can't tell you that I know this, but everything's getting shut
Oh
down.
my gosh.
So we knew it was coming.
So what happened with
Shut
the
it
dollar
down that
bills?
Sunday, right? The apocalypse party?
No, it started on the Sunday. The winner announced it, but we didn't officially get shut down until the Tuesday by the governor.
We
On the
closed.
17th.
We closed like 2 or 3 days before
We
everyone
closed,
else.
so yeah, we closed the Sunday
Yeah.
and just let it ride it out. Had a little big banger on the way out. I loved it. So immediately once it shut down, JMO was heading up to Tonopah, the aforementioned city up north, and I had never been, so I was like, yeah, let's bond. We'll go. So we
Took
went
it out.
shot some shotguns and played in the desert for a couple nights. It was great.
Okay. Nice. What made you come back?
The naked guys in the hot springs up there deterred us from staying longer.
I forgot about that.
So what do you think the next 5 years looks like now
For what?
for Vegas?
For Vegas, record numbers.
Record numbers?
Absolute record, yeah.
My understanding from the vice president of Nevada State Bank is that their money in bank accounts more than doubled because basically the whole world was still getting paid except for restaurant people. And so they had nowhere to go, and the bank accounts swole, and only 40% of Americans have passports. So you're going Vegas, Miami.
Interesting information you got there.
Yeah. And it's,
Yeah, we think it's going to be booming too, and we're very excited to have you guys on board to be a part of the future of the Plaza. Make this place even better than it already is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be great.
Where can people find you on social media?
right now it's the Sand Dollar LV. It'll be the Sand Dollar DT for downtown.
But you guys personally?
Mine is Tony Paw. That's what my roommates used to call me in culinary school. So
Mine's Nathan Grates.
You don't use it?
You know what? I've never really had an affinity for it. I don't know. I like to use it as kind of like it's like the modern day photo album.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you would just kind of go through the pictures. But now it's where the vacation images go and nothing else.
You know, somebody was telling me the other day that, like, if people that are on social media are not evolving with society, they're basically dinosaurs.
Yeah, their brains aren't adapting the same
I
way.
think you guys are just refusing to evolve with society.
But then they're creating amazing bars and spaces.
I have a friend that refuses to get on social media, and the guy texts me news articles, and I'm like, dude, that everyone knows that happened. That was 2 weeks ago.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us. We're so excited.
Welcome to the Plaza family.
Good to be here.
We'll be back again soon, but in the meantime, please rate, review, and subscribe. Tell your friends about On the Corner of Main Street, and of course, follow us on social. On Twitter and Instagram, it's @PlazaPod, and on Facebook, find us @Plaza Podcast. Or go right to the top and tweet Jonathan @JonathanJossel. We'll see you next time from right here on the corner of Main Street.